could easily be the last ban here, but I do feel like he's a champion. While he is super strong, you can actually leave open and kind of bait with the Rise. He's like the carrot on the stick.
Or not.
Ban him. I mean, I'm just saying there are two options.
11 out of 11 games, Origen have banned Rise, regardless of side and preference. And a very early lock-in on the Gragas. You've seen it flexed a couple times. Has been top, has been primarily jungle. And also to mention the Bard and the Braum bans from Giants. No big surprise, but again, targeting out Origen, targeting out Hybrid.
Yeah, something we see almost every single team do, honestly. 8 Bard bans and 7 Braum bans against Origen so far this split. The next most banned champion is Vladimir with only 3 bans. So quite a gap. Everyone is always trying to target Hybrid, and it makes sense because they want to make Peke weaker by making the support who's trying to carry him in the laning phase weaker at the same time. I think Peke, though, has, again, not been like dead weight by any means from Origen's side. But he's had some issues, but he's also been able to add a lot of communication, leadership to this team, and he's not been needed as the main carry.
No, definitely not the case. And with each game, Peke is getting better. My biggest quarry with him as an ADC, I think, is just seeing him caught out in the mid game. You know, still coming to grips with the zones that are safe and dangerous, I feel. Maybe I'm projecting just a tad. But we're not seeing big surprises here. Picks and bans, 6-11.
Everything is standard.
No big surprises. 2 weeks on this patch on the LCS stage.
Yeah, it was fun though because last week in Europe, Karma wasn't that big of a deal. It was just a fine support pick and nothing else. And then LCK played a lot of Karma before this split, or before this week, and obviously teams could practice it, and now almost every single team will pick it very early on in the draft because it's such a strong flex pick. We've seen it mainly support in Europe. We actually haven't seen that much mid lane Karma. I think it's strong, but I think it can be difficult to execute because there's a timer. Like, you don't want to go full late game with mid lane Karma. It is kind of meh in the late game when it comes to your damage. It's the best way to describe it.
Your professional description.
It is meh.
Meh, okay.
So is this champion. Did you see Twitter today, Trevor?
I've seen a little bit of Twitter, but what is it I'm looking for?
So Hyper tweeted that if he got like 20,000 retweets, he would insta-lock Teemo for PowerOfEvil. Last time I checked, he was on 6K, so we're not going to get the insta-lock Teemo, but they are now having fun with it. Ha ha ha. And we move on.
I just wish you could have brought that up on the analyst desk earlier. I don't know if you did.
I did not.
Because you could have done it. I'm hearing from production it reached 11,000 retweets.
For now.
So
there's 9K to go.
9,000. I wonder if we can do that in a game. But I don't want to do that because I actually think that's like tampering in some ways.
Right.
But
anyways, we know what you're going to play now.
Let's jump back into picks and bans. Peke on the Ashe. Played it yesterday. I think he had a couple of pretty good arrows, but it is one of those champions where low mobility means you can get targeted, especially when you see a Gragas on the other side.
But it is also one of the champions where if you have a good understanding of how to play the map, if you know when you can engage, then Ashe is perfect for you. Also means you don't need to run engage in other roles because you have the arrow. Poppy top as well for SoaZ. We've seen it a few times. It is a pick you mainly just take because she has a good... Like, she has a very strong kit, and like she's very good in the late game when it comes to like team fighting, especially because of her ulti. She doesn't really win any lanes, so you can try and go even at best. So it's mainly just we want safety and we want a team fighter who can also block some dashes like a body slam from a Gragas.
But I think that's smart against a team like Giants. You know, play safety. If all things are as expected, in theory, Origen should be the stronger team and should potentially come out ahead. Let's talk about the Giants draft. I think it's well-rounded. You got that split pusher in Trundle, support Nami, some good scaling in Azir. Like little bits of everything.
This is one of the most standard comps we see on 6-11. A lot of the comps are built around what we like to call 1-4 setups, where you have one split pusher, which is the top laner with teleport, and in this case the Trundle, who is actually a legit split pusher. And then you have the 4-man group, which wants to set up around dragons, which wants to siege on towers with like Azir and Ezreal, who has like a strong 4-man fight. And then again you have that one pressure lane on the other side. Super, super standard. And Origen is actually doing exactly the same, where you have that 4-man group with the Rek'sai, the Viktor, the Ashe, and the Karma. And then you have the Poppy sitting in side lane. She's not a split pusher though. So your 1-4 is more built around holding the lane, the one lane, and then actually TPing into a team fight with an arrow flying in from Peke, where Giants can play the pressure game where 2 lanes are winning at once and smacking the towers down and always forcing Origen to sit back and defend.
But that also requires a higher level of coordination.
It does.
And teamwork, and that's something that Giants were lacking yesterday. A little bit messy, a little bit sloppy. in the games against Splice, and in the second game, they got a little run over. So for Giants, it's about getting on the same page as a unit, and once again trying to rally behind Knight, who's been the shining star here for Giants.
Yeah, and that's a key point. I feel like Giants, while they do try and play around Knight, some of the other members make too many individual mistakes. Yeah. We're like, okay, technically right now Knight is in a good spot, and then this guy got caught, this guy died over there, and never mind. Or Knight actually also makes a few mistakes here and there, and then end up losing anyway.
Well, find out if the rest of Giants can help Knight out. There's the team comps, guys. Let us know if you think Giants will win. Hashtag GIA win or hashtag OG win for the last series of week 3 here in Europe. The crowd is excited and stamping their feet. I've got a couple of Southern Hemisphere folk in the house. So to the South Africans and Australians around. How's it, Boot? For now, it's Giants versus Origen.
He didn't want to answer.
Now, listen, he's right behind. I heard. So, anyways, we're going to jump into this one. Do you think it's fair to say Origen have... Let me say something first.
Oh, sorry.
Do you think it's fair to say Origen have looked a little bit more towards lane swaps because they can help pick it out in the early game?
I know. I actually think Ashe Karma is a very good 2v2 lane. I think Ashe is a bit of a lane bully. Very hard to trade against her with her volley. Auto-attack volley into auto-attack makes it a little bit unfair. And if you do have a longer trade, her Q can be impactful. Not that you use it too much in lane. So I think Origen has a strong 2v2 lane, but they do have a bit of a weak 1v1 lane for SoaZ. And that's where the lane swap can happen. But SoaZ in the past has been okay taking losing matchups and then kind of just doing his own thing for 15-20 minutes, trying not to die too much.
Seen that fairly often over the years. Just a quick update. Hello to everybody who has joined us from EU LCS 2. I've heard that Vitality versus H2K has wrapped up. I'm going to have to catch game number 2 later on the VOD section of LOLesports.com. No, but seriously, welcome though. Giants versus OG. We are into game 1 of this best of 2. Standard lanes.
You didn't miss anything.
Is the name of the game. Just a rant about standard lanes versus lane swaps and
sure.
The particular matchup that PowerOfEvil and Hybrid find themselves in.
And Trevor tried some weird shout-out that completely backfired, and that's been about it. Everything else.
Why are you going to bring that up? They missed it.
I want to make sure they're up to date.
Experience. Okay, fair enough. There's that volley you talked about. And you know, one thing that is good here for PowerOfEvil and Hybrid, not only do the champions do well, as Fisher has already explained, but Sonstar, he has his difficulties in the early game.
What a nice way to say it. Yeah, Sonstar, when it comes to CS at 10 and 20, is our second worst AD carry right now. He's down 16 CS on average at 10 minutes, which is quite unique and not something we see very often. We have seen that go the other way, where someone is up 16 CS. It used to be like Forgiven who could do that. But Sonstar's pulled the opposite of a Forgiven. And he's in a tricky lane matchup, but Ezreal is a very good long-range farmer. Let's just keep track of it, because obviously xPeke is still getting used to AD carry, and a lot of it is also learning laning phase. It's kind of weird, suddenly you have a guy next to you all the time, where you're used to just playing that 1v1 lane in mid. And we also see something we see very often from Origen, Trevor. Amazing early ganking for SoaZ when lanes are pushing towards SoaZ, and they're going straight for Smitty.
And this usually means good things for Origen. The stun did not pin Smitty against the wall. Pillar of Ice will slow Amazing down. Tunnel into Burrow. Flash already. Red buff is ticking. Gets a Furious Bite. And with the Summoner spell blown, that's going to allow SoaZ more pressure in lane.
Like the little mind game. Everyone trying to delay the flashes. And xPeke.
Well, there's learning some of those trades. Luckily, we'll get some support from Hybrid.
And you see some of the early damage from Ashe. He got the proc his Q as well. Does a lot of damage, honestly. But yeah, fun with the gank top, how it's all about not flashing first. Because if you flash first as the Rek'sai, then suddenly the Trundle can dodge around you. If Trundle flashes instantly, then Rek'sai can follow, knock him up at the same time. I like how SmityJ waited for as long as possible. Even used the pillar to force the tunnel out of Amazing, meaning he couldn't chase any further. But still, it's annoying as a Trundle. You want to win this lane, that's why you're pushing it early. And that's why the early gank happens.
Luckily, it was a matchup which SoaZ could have had trouble with. Gonna have some additional freedom. Where is Maxlore farming up the jungle? Got himself a couple extra camps under his belt.
I just went back to see the timing of the gank from Amazing. I like to run with around 3 minutes, is where you need to have your first wards down, because that's where the early gank can happen. very often, but SmityJ didn't place his ward at that time. So got maybe a little bit surprised, therefore had to flash away. But not the end of the world, technically. But it does really hurt him. So actually, maybe it is the end of the world. We have to see once he gets the wave pushed down towards him, because right now he's obviously respecting the fact that Amazing can show up again.
In theory, help pick up first blood. Knight is doing his best here to pressure PowerOfEvil. Denied a few CS already, 35 to 29. About 3 more in front, and Peke and Hybrid, this poke wall is just going a bit crazy. Peke is going to be able to farm up, I think, relatively well under this tower.
Hey, Sonstar's not falling behind right now.
Yeah, good change.
It's a positive. Hybrid also had an early back before. Actually, not an early back, he was just roaming very quickly, and meaning Peke had a few trades. Amazing is a very active jungler. I think he's realized with the new OG lineup that because you don't have a winning bot lane normally, he needs to be more active in the early game to try and get either PowerOfEvil or SoaZ rolling. Especially the SoaZ camp has worked before for Origen. Remember like the Jax game, and we've had the Fizz game as well for SoaZ. Games where he got off to a great start and he became like the main carry. So I like to follow Amazing and see what he's doing early on. However, a lot of ganking often means you farm less. Yeah. And right now we can see he's behind, also because he had a pure 1-buff gank and didn't even get to go to bottom side, and Maxlore actually took away his blue.
So Maxlore gets the 3-buff start. He's was a level ahead. Amazing just dinged 5. And he's got a sizable CS advantage. We got a quick glimpse there of Knight. Flash exhaust his summer spells. He's gone for the double Doran's rings. A little bit invested in this laning phase. And try and push up any sort of advantages that he can early on.
SoaZ really wanted to show that tunnel being placed. One of the good things with Rek'sai, the amount of walls you can move past. Did get cleared away though, so not really a whole lot there. Giants did show the jungle on top side, obviously. So Origen does have some information on where Maxlore is around on the map. But right now, no one is really sending him any ganks. You can see a lot of wards on top here because SmityJ, again, he needs to push his lane. And he had no flash, so a lot of protection for him. And therefore, Amazing is just farming. Realizing he can't really go for any ganks. He will be spotted, and he doesn't have a flash in case a counter gank does happen. We always have to remember that.
Got to play a little bit of catch-up. Very early Sightstone there as well for Amazing, before even upgrading his jungle item. Going to give some additional utility to his role. Help out those laners. It just doesn't feel like Origen. There's no pressure to win this laning phase. Go even, find some picks with a double teleport and the Ashe arrows, and then look to take command.
But we have to remember, if SmityJ can get control in this lane after the early gank, that's a winning lane for Giants throughout the entire game, basically, with this Trundle. And Origen will be forced to just pick teamfights every single time. So what we can see later on is a QSS comes in fairly early from the Giants members to stop that main engage from Origen, because everything else is built around then Amazing with like a flash knockup, or SoaZ TPing in with his flanking. But it's very hard to only rely on TP flanking because you're getting pushed back in your lane. Because you know whenever you leave your lane, then Trundle will just take your tower. And the threat is always there. And it becomes a bit more scary for Origen then to start these fights if Peke can't be the main engage. PowerOfEvil though is roaming to the bottom lane, setting up a potential early dive.
Spotted by the pink ward.
Instantly spotted, yes.
Yeah. And talking about that bottom lane, Sonstar, Cull and Tia.
Long con here.
standard blue build, Ezreal,
yes,
as it were. Despite some of the changes to Triforce, despite the potential for it to be brought up. Actually, I think, was it only Jax that we saw build that? I think so,
yes,
actually. Putting you on the spot with that one, but that's a little unfair.
Well, we actually saw Sven go at the Triforce as well on Ezreal. Amazing though, not really getting caught up. We're trying to potentially hype up some moments, and Sonstar.
So much damage. Peke's got that Ranger's focus, does not flash away from the barrels. But Sonstar fires the missiles wide. And
warning shot.
A heal blown. Just a warning shot. Sending the message.
This could have hit you.
Yep. I think it would have made a huge difference though.
It's a good play though from Origen, because again, when you have, as you just said yourself, a tier call Ezreal, he's not strong at all. You have a BF sword Ashe, so look for fights around the bottom, and that's your strong lane at the moment if you're Origen. So I really like how they put priority on it. You always see these professional teams identify what's our strongest lane right now. If we make a play in any lane, where's the highest percent chance it works, Well, in this case, it's bottom lane, because your Ashe is sitting on a BF sword. It's a strong 2v2 lane anyway with the Karma as well. So I really like the pressure. No real response from Giants, because the best they can do is TP down with SmityJ, and then SoaZ just follows. And then Origen is still stronger. So I really like that little setup, and you can always just identify strongest lane on the map. That's where you put your pressure.
Low risk, high reward.
That's what we like, Trevor.
Yeah. Controlled. And that's a good sign from Origen as well. They are marginally down in CS, in gold rather, but that's because of the CS. Advantages from the jungle, from the mid lane. PowerOfEvil's got access to level 8, gonna start maxing his first skill shortly.
Still a problem for Giants. They don't have this snowballing top lane. You're gonna need that Tiamat upgraded before SmityJ really start taking over the lane. But again, SoaZ have had enough time where he didn't like get killed on the tower to a gank. Might see more action in the bottom lane because PeKe is moving forward.
He really is. Hustlin's way too far away. The volley didn't find a target, but Sonstar's in trouble. Exhaust comes out. I think he hits the kill. First blood was picked up by PeKe. It's supportal combat as here comes Amazing. Not going to pick a battle as Maxlore shows his face. Hustlin and Hybrid, they continue to hit one another. And Amazing and Maxlore just clear out the vision. 1 for 1.
You fight, you go, you go. And then they just take the wards and nothing else. But AD carry trade. Looked a little bit funky in the start. Sonstar even managed to dodge around the volley, so good for him. But not really a whole lot to say. They're all-inning each other straight away. Yeah. I actually think if you are Origen, you don't need to all-in the 2v2. You can just set up the play with your jungler coming down, as you will be stronger. But a trade. I didn't see who got the first blood.
First blood to PeKe.
Ah, so he
was the one. Look, here's the replay.
All right, so we get the replay. He doesn't see the enemy support. That's why he's like, oh, I can all in here because I can slow him down and can land an arrow in his face. In the end, they both
flash for flash.
Flash as well and die. And now,
we're both scared of the tidal wave. Needed to get out of the way.
Look at the confidence, Trevor. This is an AD carry who knows what he's doing. He's been playing AD carry for a whole 2 weeks.
Still call worth. Still call worth.
Got the first blood.
Exactly. And in the top lane, SoaZ, he's got chunked down. Looking at the cooldowns, neither ultimate is available. SoaZ has got +1. The pin does not find a target. The heroic charge, not so much. Steadfast presence will not do a whole lot against Trundle, though.
And bot lane now, Ashe has no flash. Keep that in mind against the Gragas jungle. That's a body slam flash, and instantly Giants will get a kill. PeKe and Hybrid realizes not only have our jungler shown on top side, we also now overextended and therefore have to back away and surrender some CS. That is the cool thing if you play in Ezreal. You don't always need that flash. Ashe definitely needs it against junglers like Gragas, like Rek'sai. So PeKe now maybe regretting his decision, even though he got the first blood.
Well, we'll find out how worth it is. About a third of that cooldown has been worn away, but it'll take a lot of time. As both members of Giants, Knight and Maxlore coming up. Sliding glide, Emperor's Divide is flashed away from PowerOfEvil, respecting the ability. And he gets out.
Always this two-step process when you want to gank Viktor as an Azir. We see this matchup very often. The first one, you slide in and you make sure you get the flash. And then you just do it once your cooldown is back up. And suddenly, you secure a kill because your jungler shows up at the same time and you can knock that Viktor pretty far back in towards your own tower. The PowerOfEvil now needs to be a little bit scared. Same for PeKe in the bottom lane. So we have maybe a minute or two where we need to see Maxlore do something. He has 2 lanes to gank. He doesn't need to be afraid of SoaZ because right now SoaZ is going to lose the lane on top side. Mid lane or bot lanes where we want to see Maxlore go.
And that farm advantage that Maxlore had earned in the opening sort of 8 minutes has disappeared. You know, Amazing's been able to catch up, take a little attacks here and there, and Amazing's been a lot more active on the map as he throws up the farm along. But you know, you talked about SmityJ winning this lane. We're actually seeing a lot more Trundle than I think I was expecting. The QSS changes, bringing him back to popularity.
Definitely.
But it's not a simple just pick it and win.
Wait for it, here's the gank. We called this one the easiest gank to ever call in our lives. PeKe is making sure this Gragas does not move too close. It's not going to hit anyone but SoaZ in the face.
Almost. Near miss.
But yeah, Trundle top. What do you want to know, Trevor?
Is it a trap card?
No, it is not. But I like to call Trundle the Nidalee of top laners.
Oh, do it. Tell me why.
Because Trundle has the ability to completely take over the game, but it requires a strong early game. It requires him to have the pressure and the great matchup as well. But if he gets a few early kills, takes down that early tower, gets a longer lane as well, in these 1v1s against tanks like Poppy, he has just full control and he can just constantly push it down, even dive you if he wants to. And therefore he has the ability to just become so annoying to play against. And then in a team fight, obviously he takes away so many stats, and as long as you can focus the front line, he has value.
So, to Fisher, we've got the checklist. Early kills, long lane, take down the tower. None of those tick boxes have been checked yet. And we're 15 minutes in.
Yeah, that's obviously a little bit annoying.
At what point do we then start worrying for Giants?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Tower is taking some damage, down about 30% on top side. He is about to take the lane in his control, gets the Titanic Hydra very soon as well. Nothing SoaZ can really do, but definitely a good for Origen that they bought more time, even to secure a dragon without losing anything yet. Maxlore on top side, because you look at the lane being pushed in, but he's not been able to gank anything, despite still no flash now in the mid lane with an Azir. Giants, this is where you need to punish a team like Origen for having those flashes down. Otherwise, you don't get any early advantage.
This is the definition of an invisible jungler.
It is, even though he's quite a large man.
Hidden away inside the jungle.
Big bones, maybe.
Yeah, big bones maybe. I'll leave that to you to decide. Neither here nor there for me. But Origen, I think they were going to be very content. You know, they had this team comp that wanted to group, that wanted to make use of, you know, the double TPs, the Ashe arrows. 3 games in a row for Peke and Ashe, played it both yesterday, and this is where Origen's strengths and experience will outclass and outshine Giants, and that's something you can't really put a value on.
And that's fair. I mean, Origen now got a bot tower without really using anything. SoaZ is now on the bottom side away from the Trundle lane, because now you swap it top here and your tower didn't even go down. So you actually just have a free tower advantage. SoaZ though,
he's in trouble.
Runs away from that one.
Tidal Wave's not going to find anything. Aqua Prison locks SoaZ up. Body slam, flashed away from SoaZ.
He's angry. He's really angry.
But he gets away with his life. What else can Origen take? There's pressure in the top lane. They may be trading tower for tower.
Get a tower, but it's again, they're going to get the tower much faster. SoaZ will try and shoot away some minions here.
And the fish as well. Sends Hustlin flying. I don't think it'll stop the tower though. Peke and Hybrid, they're pushing top.
But now it's about the tempo, and it's about the fact that Giants would have naturally gotten that top lane tower had it stayed standard lanes, because then Trundle would have taken down that tower. Origen wouldn't have gotten anything for it, basically. But instead, they bought enough time by the early gank on Trundle. They got a bot lane tower, then swapped top lane. So now, while they trade, they're still 1 tower ahead, even a Rift Hell coming up. No dragon on bottom side. Origen is in control because they've been getting extra every single time.
So Giants put themselves in a little bit of a precarious position. They're down a tower still from the very early ganks in that bottom lane. And Peke and Hybrids earning themselves first blood. The Eye of the Void, was that picked up there by Amazing? I believe that it was. And
I think Amazing just got the last
double check. Ashe Arrow finds Knight. Whoa, he sends the Emperor's Divide completely the wrong direction. There's a party in the mid lane, and everybody's invited. Amazing's going to burrow his way into the fight. Won't find anybody to knock up, though, and Giants begin to back away. Not the most exciting party,
that was
but
a boring one.
Yeah, I was getting my hopes up. Amazing's actually just going to tunnel out. Peace out, bro. Don't want Origen peel away as well.
Origen did get the Rift Hell, as you said. Amazing picked it up because it was him, Peke, and Hybrid. They're kind of like, we actually don't want it on either of these players. We want it on SoaZ, technically. But does have a little bit of value, I guess, for Amazing. Just a tiny bit. Because that's one thing you can do with Origen's comp. You can actually put the Rek'Sai in a side lane just to push. And then have his ulti globally. Maxlore.
Pressure is on, no flash available. Body slam flashed away from it. PowerOfEvil predicted that barrel. You know, this is a little bit of good dodging and prediction and poor aim as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of both. But you actually said no flash. And oh, you meant Maxlore had no flash.
Maxlore had no flash.
I was like, where? He's no flash. He's gonna die.
The body slam flash would have helped.
It would have helped. Definitely would have helped. He got another flash, though.
There's a play-by-play line if you've ever heard one.
You got a flash, Trevor. he got the flash. But last time they got a flash, they didn't use it. So Origen, as we said, you know, been getting a little bit here and there. Extra tower, a Rift Herald, they got the first dragon. Next one coming in 2 minutes time, an Infernal one. So we are blessed by the Dragon God with some good dragons in this one here, some impactful ones. And both teams honestly can fight for the next one because we are at the front, you know, 2 items on Sonstar. Knight is strong enough to fight as well, got level 13. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, right. So you can't just...
Because I was about to say, yeah, he also got ranked to ultimate. Like, he's actually 13, so he has that
Had it
for
for a little while,
like,
yeah.
not sure why.
Needlessly large rod as well as Nash's Tooth picked up for Knight's Azir. And I think it's important to note, I'm not quite sure. It's needlessly large. But you know, you can't disrespect the fact that Giants have gone completely even with OG. Truthfully, not a whole lot has actually happened in terms of the laning phase. A few ganks here and there,
right.
But they still have a lot of power in their team composition. They just need to play a team fight well, potentially around this next dragon. I
agree, and we might get the situation where if SmityJ can't really be a bully on the Trundle, let's see what happens to copy Maxlore. Again, Ashe has no flash, but he got hit by the arrow and didn't want to throw ulti this time because you laughed at him the last time, Trevor.
I did, it's my fault. But that's good. Holding on to that cooldown. No real threat. The objective was the tower.
Yeah, it was obviously the tower they went for. Maybe they didn't have proper vision of the other Origen members.
You also have to ask the question. Maybe the last 2 barrels that missed thwarts Maxlore's confidence in throwing the next one. You know, like, I'm projecting here a little bit. I mean, these could start to seep through.
There was an Ashe arrow straight in his face, so the stun was very, very, very short. And a more aggressive Gragas there could have easily shot Peke back, maybe even picked up a kill plus the tower. Peke was alone at the time. Definitely didn't expect to find Maxlore in there. But still, I mean, as we talked about with SmityJ here, if he's not able to be that big bully in the side lane and you get into the first team fight here with this Infernal Drake, then SoaZ does have the chance to have more impact with a great ulti on this Poppy, and suddenly what was supposed to be that winning lane for Giants and a big advantage in the draft for them actually ends up going in the favor of Origen. They're starting the Dragon on the side of Giants. PowerOfEvil was on top side because he has teleport. The rest of Origen coming down very late.
No Ashe arrow yet.
SoaZ missed.
Take a few seconds.
Oh, Amazing
stolen away. Amazing gets it, but at what cost? He's going to flash away. Amazing was able to secure the dragon. That's an Infernal to Origen. And they're able to just walk away unscathed. A couple of summoners, and that's definitely worth.
Oh yeah, you didn't even lose anything. If you're Origen. See any flashes? Yeah, Amazing had to flash and SoaZ had to flash, but again, we've seen Origen lose flashes multiple times this game and never really seemed to do anything.
Nope, does not impact them just yet.
But 2 Drakes, 2 great Drakes as well for Origen here. Meaning, you always gotta keep that in mind. Every single pro player in these games, like, they have this timer in the head being, okay, if they do start a Baron, and we don't see them, how long will it take them with this kind of composition? It's hard to factor in the Mountain Drakes and Infernal Drakes to the extra damage. I actually see that quite often now.
Oh, a lot of damage on Sonstar. The Chaos Storm's tag.
Oh, there we go.
Maxlore's looking for more. True Shot Barrage comes out, but Sonstar's taken down. I think that was the death ray. Maxlore's now in trouble as Hustlin and Maxlore flash over the wall. Hybrid follows up, manages to catch one down. 2 kills to Origen.
Such a tough game for Maxlore and Giants. I feel like every time he's trying to do something, it just goes wrong. Dove in this time, had no ulti, and then suddenly his AD carry behind him just died. Need to see if that was the ulti from Viktor staying on him, because it is fully upgraded. I need some more vocal training here, but it is fully upgraded early on from PowerOfEvil, meaning the extra movement speed makes it very difficult to escape the ulti. Peke, we've
flash.
seen before.
And not going to be followed by Knight. Knight's not done. Sand Soldiers forward. Here comes SoaZ. He's been sent packing. No, that was Amazing, I believe. Now SoaZ knocks Knights up into the air. Aqua Prison comes down. Knight's able to flash away with his life. And the Tidal Wave buys some time. Origen starting to play much more aggressive, starting to push forward and reacting to Giants plays.
And they're able to make plays together where there's no split pushing Trundle. The Trundle is here defending a tower. He has no wave clear. He only has value right now sitting in the side lane. So the fact that Origen can force plays together really benefits them and makes it very difficult for Giants to use their composition properly. And it's going to be more about Knight and Sonstar in these big team fights. Okay, let's see. So it's fully upgraded Hex Core from PowerOfEvil. Sonstar should never Arcane Shift in towards a Viktor, by the way. And then,
there we
just
go.
has the Chaos
Stay in
Storm
the Chaos
on
Storm.
him, and it does a lot of damage with these ticks. That's why fully upgrading that Hex Core, so it stays on you for the full 6 seconds, is very strong. Hybrid securing the kill.
Got so confused how Maxlore got over the wall. Like, I didn't see a flash particle. Because he didn't flash, Trevor. That's why I stumbled on my words. Look back and have regrets.
Again, maybe you should get some game training.
I should.
I get the vocal training, and then...
But you know, some things are just hopeless. Like, I won't be able to make a difference there. PowerOfEvil's in trouble. 3 members of Giants on here. There's some port coming in from Hybrid and Amazing. Giants smelling blood in the water, but unable to stick to their target long enough.
Still even a gold here. I mean, despite Origen getting the 2 Drakes, we obviously have to value that in the gold lead with the extra stats, especially from the Infernal Drake. But the fact that, again, I'm looking at this minimap and I'm seeing SoaZ push past the river against a Trundle says a lot about how this game has been going so far. SmityJ not able to have the proper impact. Suddenly we're looking at just full-on team fights being the way to win the game for both teams. And that's where the Poppy, if SoaZ has the good ulti, really can be impactful. Some dashes to stop as well. Obviously, some body slams and a Seer flying in there. There are a few different things. Cannot stop Arcane Shift.
Nope.
There's a blink.
Dash rather. Alright, Dragon. Next one will be Cloud Drake. Some vision being set up. Body slam interrupted. No flash available for Maxlore. Keeper's Verdict comes out. SoaZ is in trouble. Emperor's Divide goes backwards. And a little bit of an oopsie, I think.
Yeah.
That's the side of SoaZ. Not quite sure why he was in that side of the Dragon Pit either.
I'm pretty sure he was trying to set up around the mid tower. Because then SmityJ would have been bot lane without a TP, pushing out the wave, and then SoaZ was setting up for like the dive with the arrow coming in. Problem is, everyone from Giants has kind of spotted him, killed him.
And those are mistakes that I don't think Origen can afford to make. Right at the beginning of the game, I was like, hey, Origen, they should be clear favorites, they should be the stronger team. And you very rightly were like, hang on, don't get too excited, Trevor. Because if members of Origen get caught out, if they continue to stay even, against Ezreal, Azir, even Gragas can tank here. There's more and more likelihood that a mistake can cost more than just a dragon or a tower.
There is definitely not a clear winner late game, just looking at the comps. It's going to be about how they execute them. Because in this meta, Trevor, one thing I've noticed is a lot of the picks we see all the time, and never mind, Amazing is diving straight into his own death.
He has a pick.
He's flashed.
Flash blown though. Not the end of the world for Rek'sai, but still. You know,
definitely not the ulti you want to use. Normally ulti helps you.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost your flash and almost all your HP. You just go back to base again, almost at this point.
Oh, Arrow will find his target onto Hustlin. He's gonna get taken down. The long-range damage from xPeke and PowerOfEvil. And SmityJ, whoa, is he trying? Look at that. He's able to subjugate and force SoaZ away as well.
That's what we're supposed to see all the time in this 1v1, that SoaZ can never stay close. But Hustlin has the Mikhails, sadly. It's great for your teammates, not for you. Therefore, he is a great target and good ulti here from xPeke. Knowing that's a free kill on the support, something we see more and more as well, because we have all these squishy supports, right? It's very easy to target them, kill them. We're all the way back to Season 3 in that case. Sonstar with the early QSS, because again, he needs to against the arrow. Mikhails for the Azir, so it becomes harder and harder for xPeke to set up the proper ult, unless he hits it right in the face of Hustlin.
But I really like seeing more Ashe. You know, starting to be a lot more common. You know, a lot more of a standard pick, and bringing all of that utility to the table.
Exactly.
Especially when you've got such a strong front line in the team of Origen. You know, with SoaZ and Amazing, both playing very well. It makes xPeke's life easier and safer when he doesn't put himself in harm's way.
Yeah, sure, but there's multiple ways, multiple reasons we see Ashe being played so much. I mean, one of them is we have less hard engage from top laners, so having the hard engage from your AD carry is super strong. Another thing is obviously some other AD carry nerfs, like Lucian being nerfed, meaning Ashe steps in as a strong laner who can beat things like Ezreal and Sivir in lane. And I also like when teams can execute an Ashe composition, because she's very different than any other AD carry. Because it's all about the fact that you can punish people when they push up lanes too much. And like you can hover around a little bit out of vision, get mid controlled and roam into river, set around Dragon, and if someone try to push the mid lane back towards your tower, arrow in the face. Instantly, you just engage, you go for it. You have to be proactive though.
Yeah.
You cannot be reactive and play Ashe, then it's completely useless.
Defeats the point. And luckily for Origen, the few times they have used that arrow, it's worked out. They didn't contest that dragon, by the way. So Giants are able to pick up their first dragon. I know that a lot of love for that Cloud Drake from you, Deficio.
But don't get me started here, Trevor.
Okay, so the next one's Infernal. That's a lot more exciting.
Oh, we like that, yeah, we like Infernal. Strong Drake.
And again, look at this, 30 minutes in. Even in golds. Giants are in fact the team that has the tower advantage because they just knocked over that outer turret.
We're setting up, Trevor, for the big, big team fights. Because no one is going to win the game purely in a side lane, as we've said 500 times, with SmityJ not getting control in that lane.
Disappointed Dad Deficio.
No, well, he got early ganked. He didn't have to ward down.
Okay.
I had to flash for it. Then his lane was actually still pushed towards SoaZ with no flash. He's like, I'm not going to go and push it out.
Partially disappointed Dad Deficio.
Right.
Okay.
Neutral.
Neutral. Okay. I can dig that. Origen was setting up in and around the Baron, denying some vision. I see 2 pink wards in the river, but not the greatest amount of wards actually from Origen on the map. A couple of defensive placements in that left quadrant for Giants, and I think when you've got those double TPs, I was very critical yesterday when Splice did not use their double TPs particularly effectively. I don't think Origen have tried to use them, but I also don't feel like they were looking to win early either, really.
I don't like TP and Viktor, like, at all. I actually don't think it's very good. I think Ghost is fantastic on Viktor, especially on 6-11 with the scaling now from it. So good in late
And the
game
Rylai's
fight.
build as well.
Rylai's build here as well. Like, it just makes you so mobile. Where TP on Viktor in this case is more for Origen just to be able to control one side lane, but never split push really. They just like clear the wave and then have that extra global to stop any aggression going on the map. And it can work against a split pusher like Trundle. If he goes too aggressive, you can then have double TP. You can run down and gank him with 2 guys and then TP in. Baron being started, remember guys, Mountain Drake and Infernal Drake, so it goes down faster than normal. The rest of Giants are coming.
Teleport from SmityJ was in the mid lane. Baron, look at the HP bar, down to 3,500. Giants, they're trying to get in. 1,500, they're too late. It's been secured by Origen without contest. Knight slides forward. SoaZ is knocked back. Emperor's Divide will lock him out, and SoaZ is the only sacrifice for Baron for the buff, and it remains on 4.
That internal timer, how fast can they kill the Baron? Always gets a little bit messed up once you have these Drakes in there, but also Giants just being way too far back on the map. But we see this more and more. We see these dragons getting, I'm almost gonna say, not so much snuck away, like kind of like starting it randomly.
Secured, uncontested.
Sure, that's another one. Like, I see it more even like at 20 minutes, 22 minutes. Maxlore, finally he gets the ulti.
He makes this barrel work. PowerOfEvil gets caught up in the air. He's not dead yet. The Siphon Power, it's got such a big shield. He finally goes down. Kill was secured by Hustlin, but Maxlore may go down and reply. Peke chunks him down with the Rangers' focus, and they trade mid lane for jungle. PowerOfEvil, 45-second death timer.
PowerOfEvil stayed alive for such a long time, flashing away as well. Getting quite some damage down, 1 for 1. Despite a good engage from Maxlore this time around. Keep in mind, Giants were fighting against the Baron buff as at the same time. And honestly, just buying time with this. Getting that 1 kill, even if you trade 1 for 1, you kind of just stop Origen from setting up a siege. Not that Origen's comp is the greatest siege composition in the world, but important.
They've still only got 2 towers from that lane swap. Origen have played on their half of the map and the river for 33 minutes.
Right. Let's see how PowerOfEvil stays alive. So that's the engage. Soldier is on him all the time, but of course Sonstar isn't here, so it's only Knight dealing damage, and then Sonstar joins in. That's why PowerOfEvil could stay alive. And then Peke getting some good damage down in the end. Everything used to kill PowerOfEvil, obviously. Ulti from Azir as well. We'll get more fights, Trevor, don't worry. I know it's only 9 kills so far.
Yeah, but look at the vision setup. Ashe arrow catches Sonstar, QSS on the Mercurial rather will allow him to escape. And the vision that Origen have placed in Giants jungle, a minute ahead of the Infernal Drake spawning. They want to be ready for this objective.
And this seems to be the plan for Origen with this teleport on PowerOfEvil. Just have him hold lanes when SoaZ doesn't have his teleport because he just used it, they know they will be under pressure in that one side lane, so having double global gives them a little bit more freedom, but it does make PowerOfEvil much weaker in these late game fights, and that's going to be important because we're 34 minutes in against Ezreal, against Azir, like strong late game champions from Giants, so everything counts. And we need to see if PowerOfEvil are able to get all his damage down, or if it's in some way hurt by the fact he doesn't have that extra mobility to move around. It can be difficult against double tank, things like a Nami, like one bubble and you die late game, and then the team fight could be over.
No hourglass for PowerOfEvil to try and avoid the tidal wave or the aqua prison. A lot of tools. So 35 minutes. Very quickly approaching. The Infernal Dragon is spawning, and you can see Maxlore waddle his way into the river. All the vision Origen had set up has been cleared out and removed. So the double teleport play actually wouldn't even be possible because SoaZ doesn't have his available. Doesn't need it, as he's right in the front line. Origen making it very clear they want to contest this.
And they should, both teams. Infernal Drake into an Elder Drake after will be massive for both teams. Now we are in the late game. They're setting up Giants with a better position for now.
So tough to engage into the Nami, into the Gragas, into the Azir. Giants, they're not committing just yet. Ashe arrow from xPeke. Where will it go? Keeper's verdict. That sends Hustlin away. A tidal wave is down. SmityJ gets caught by the enchanted crystal arrow. Tidal wave will at least split the fight for a little as Amazing continues to get tagged by the Infernal Dragon. The Dragon is dealing so much damage. He's finally going to get focused by Giants. They've decided to regroup. The fight hasn't broken out yet.
And every single lane right now is just completely even with the minions, so no one gets any sort of advantage. And no one wanted to engage, didn't want to risk it. Like, look at every single lane on your minimap. It's just in the middle with the minions, so nothing you can push now. You can't like rush down the middle and say, okay, you get Dragon, we didn't take your mid tower. Wasn't really possible for any of the teams. Instead, Giants picks it up. Super important for them. Infernal Drake each.
And this
flank coming, Trevor.
Give them some pressure. Look at Amazing in the mini-map. Origen have got a long time before that ECA is available for Peke. Look on the back line. SoaZ has found Sonstar. Mercurial Active has already been used. And Amazing's in a little bit of trouble. SmityJ, standing on the frozen domain, has a tool. Defensive barrel from Maxlore. And Giants look to have disengaged. What did Origen use on that? Over the course of it, it looks like just the flash from Hybrid, and the ultimate from Peke is available shortly.
Yeah, a few more seconds. No QSS yet for Sonstar. If he can manage to hit him, that's an easy kill for Origen. Doesn't really want to hit the Gragas, doesn't really want to hit the Trundle either.
Peke is getting hit. Tidal wave for the engage. Giants, they're looking for blood. SoaZ is in trouble. Forced to flash away from the wall. He ruffle copters one away. That's Maxlore down. Defensive crystal arrow.
No one wants to die. They're both teams just constantly kind of poking each other a little bit. No one really hard engages. And we might just have to wait for Baron to respawn. And then we see another fight over an objective. We hope for that big team fight that can decide the game. It's been low kills, a lot of focus on, honestly, just dragons. Because it's not even like tower focus has been a thing. It's only 3 towers each, 40 minutes in.
And you look at this game, in contrast to yesterday's games for Origen, where they really ran away with the early to mid game against Rocket. They had a great start to both of those games. Today, a much more passive, reserved style of play, and this could be risky.
Oh, we're face checking.
Amazing, almost face checks here. Knights, Hustlin, Maxlore, they're looking for blood. Hybrid's the one that's caught backwards. Emperor's Divide stops in 45 seconds on the death timer. SmityJ, he teleported in for this.
Really good setup by Giants. They're always first here in the late game to these objectives, setting up Dragon first. That's why they secured Infernal. Then this setup, this Baron play, it's because PowerOfEvil is sitting in side lane with teleport, while the Azir from Giants is sitting in the mid lane. Azir is perfect when it comes to getting lane control and pushing first. Origen can't do anything with an Ashe against it because Peke has tried it in the past, and then he gets engaged on and dies. So because PowerOfEvil is sitting side lane, then Origen has no mid lane control, meaning they're always last. He has a QSS now, by the way. He's making sure, no matter what.
Insta QSS from Hustlin. He manages to walk away. Peke has hit a few of those on target. Hybrid is only respawning shortly. But the 4-man stack of Origen, they're on the front line. Poppy ultimate has sent Knight away. Tidal Wave splits up the fight. Maxlore's in trouble, but so is xPeke. He's been caught out. 2 members of Origen are down. This could be gigantic for Giants. SmityJ's continuing to push forward. SoaZ is down. It's a double kill for Knight. He's still unkilled this game. PowerOfEvil will buy some time with that gravity field. PoE and Hybrid. Can they pull a hero play against 4?
Once again, Giants with mid lane control, allowing them entrance to the Dragon area, to the Baron area, and setting up first. That's why Hybrid died before. Now he needs to steal it. I've seen supports do it before.
Gonna try. Whoa. Wow! PowerOfEvil shuts down Knight. Knight was looking for the hero play himself. Baron down to 2,700. Hybrid and PowerOfEvil, they punish the over-aggression of Giants.
But Origen didn't even have Smite here. Giants didn't need to jump out of the pit and try and kill them. You had Smite on your jungler. Trust in him.
He was dead and in the base. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, you're right. I'm completely blind.
Long range auto. Not cool, bro. Yeah, Maxlore was dead. He was not in the pit with them.
Oh yeah, he died in the fight just before. I was like, they got Smite. What are you doing? Why are you jumping out of the pit? Makes a lot more sense then. The Giants decided to try and kill the Viktor.
It makes sense they tried to kill him.
They tried to kill the Viktor, so he could like laser over and potentially steal it. Then they just backfired the execution.
Well, that's
Maxlore's back now. He's alive, Trevor. He's alive. I see him.
But Knight is not. Knight is not. 5 members of Origen. They're sitting on Baron. It's been dropped to 6,000 HP. It's going to be the focus. SmityJ. He's forced to flash away. He manages to get a little bit of assistance from Hustlin. The Baron is still hammering away and amazing. Sonstar running low on mana. That's very important. Minion wave is in favor of Origen. If they can win the fight, that could be a big turn for them. Baron, 2,000 hit points. Maxlore's in trouble. He's the one with Smite. It's secured. The Baron by Origen. And Giants run away. This is just a messy, messy fight between the two teams, with nobody really looking for kills. Maxlore throws out the barrel. He catches PowerOfEvil and SoaZ. Knight flies forward. 2 members of Origen down, but 3 members remain with Baron.
Great ulti in the end here from Maxlore, but Baron for Origen. There were some big waves pushing in, but Giants have enough time to go back and clear them. Shouldn't lose anything from it. So Baron to Origen, 2 kills for Giants. 40 seconds on SoaZ and PowerOfEvil, and Elder Drake is up in 20 seconds. And this time again, Maxlore is alive. Can't believe him. This I was so tunnel on the Baron. Anyway, Elder Drake, Giants should rush it, set up for it, start it, and force Origen to move down and try and stop you, and then engage straight away on them. They should be ready. Only Sonstar is missing because he has to clear that big wave top.
I think very important. Origen are able to get that scuttle grab. Gonna have that little bit of vision and utility.
Started. If xPeke moves in too close, you go for him instantly. Watch out for the steal though. Amazing. Behind, he should be spotted once he moves out of the bush, but he'll tunnel over.
SoaZ has no teleport available despite being alive. Elder Dragon's being focused. Sonstar's found amazing. They're going in for the engage. Hustlin's in trouble. The Dragon is secured. Origen take it. The crowd goes wild. Knight is forced to run for his life. Gets over the wall. Gets away with the help of Sonstar. And 3 members of Giants are down.
Man, amazing. We're just sitting behind the Dragon Pit. Waiting, and then he goes in and he gets it. And he even got the support down at the same time. What a hero move from Amazing. Elder Drake now, Baron buff. You couldn't ask for more.
Plus, the Mountain Dragon from much earlier in the game will allow Origen to just melt through these objectives like butter. Minion waves, I think slowly pushing away from them may not be a big worry. 5 members of Origen, they might be looking to finish.
They got an army here moving straight towards the Nexus.
To the Nexus turrets, Knight and Sonstar.
Hit the tower.
I don't think they can stop this one. Knight's looking for the Emperor's Divine. He catches 3. It means a kill onto PowerOfEvil, but he costs him his own life. Hustlin forced to flash away. Sonstar looking to do more. Arcane shifts aggressively forward. Mercurial Scimitar will buy some time. Heroic Charge pins him against the wall as the bubble throws up SoaZ. Giants have successfully defended their base, and there's 1 minute long death timers.
TP coming in from SmityJ. He wants to kill xPeke. No flash and to carry.
Will buy some time, but it won't matter. Connects onto Maxlore. xPeke gets a lot of damage on a SmityJ, but 62 seconds till he's up. How far can Giants push?
Yeah, risky play from Origen trying to finish. If you want to go for that, you have to just try and rush down the towers. Obviously, Knight were able to jump in, kill 1 member, and buy more time for the rest of Giants to respawn. They're pushing up now. We have 40 seconds on Peke. Everyone else up within 10 seconds, and then 22 for SoaZ.
Minion line is about to reach the Giants members. This is getting very tense. Amazing.
They can get Inhib.
Is in trouble. Inhib will be secured. Giants will back away. This game is not done yet. And Origen, they've got to be so careful going forward.
So let's see. Correct move from Giants to start the Elder Drake and try and force a fight. The problem is they're all staying in the Dragon Pit here, all focusing on the Elder Drake itself, and that sets up a potential steal from Amazing. Didn't seem like Giants felt like they had the tools to maybe force a fight, even though SoaZ was running from base, because Sonstar wasn't there either. That's that. That's a man who just stole the Elder Drake, by the way. Oh, he's so happy.
Oh, I love the player shots showing the celebration. But we need to summarize. 45 minutes in. The goal difference of 4,000, it does not matter at this point in time. 6 items being approached for multiple members. GAs for both top laners. Banshee's Veil for SoaZ as well.
Even support's getting close. Actually, full items right now for Hybrid. You don't want to buy one more. You need the pink ward. And then he's gone for a full shielding build with the Karma, with the Athenes and Ardent Center. And even the Locket that provides another shield for him. So when he has the big AoE shield he pops from the Karma, he actually gives a lot of benefits.
A lot of value.
A lot of value.
Value added.
From Hybrid there. And well, let's see. It's by no means
Oh, wait,
over.
SmityJ. SmityJ, where's he down bottom?
Where's the camera?
I think he's in trouble. A lot of members of Origen pushing down.
He's running.
Ashe was used by Peke. Origen, they're running, they're chasing. Slow comes out from Peke ever so slightly. Pillar of Ice will slow things down. Look at the rest of Giants.
He's not even in trouble.
They're up in the top lane. Now Origen, they may be in trouble. Maxlore, over 3,500 hit points. Gonna tank this turret for days. Look at that heal. Maxlore does not care. And Giants, they sneak a turret.
All because SmityJ managed to escape in the bottom lane. SoaZ is still here. If they do fight each other, it would not be very exciting.
Yeah, 151 on SoaZ's Poppy.
Yeah.
He's not moving though.
Double GA. He's waiting. Secret mission.
Oh.
SoaZ. The former Baker.
Former Baker.
In the feature.
You know, I always thought the baguette thing was just because he was French.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of his funny thing. I never actually realized.
Yeah.
Just because he used to be a baker.
That's like shame on us though, right?
Kinda is. We've only known the guy for like 4 or 5 years now.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry, SoaZ.
Yeah.
That's on us.
Or maybe he should have told us, right?
True.
50-50, right?
True.
Like I tell you.
Well, I already know. How would that go? So how did you win the game? Well, I used my baking experience.
Hey man, I used to be a baker, you know.
The pressure
I
was
worked
on.
under a lot of pressure. It was very hot in there, and then I could perform on stage.
Yep.
All right, back to you, Trevor. Because that's what players do. They toss it back to the cast.
Yeah, I don't think too many players have done that. But look at this. Amazing. Looking for the flank opportunity. Teleports for SoaZ and SmityJ are available, and they were doing battle down bottom. Although SoaZ burned his ultimate on the cooldown. Amazing, he's still not done.
Amazing is really far behind enemy lines, sneaking around.
Look
now
at the
they're chasing him.
There's not a lot of tunnels available for Amazing to get out with that Void Rush. Looking on the mini-map, that's going to find a long-range one as he's able to escape. And Origen playing a little bit of fire. 20 seconds until the Baron spawns.
But
that's got to be the next objective.
Trevor, they have made a good change here. They're keeping PowerOfEvil around the mid lane to instant wave clear now. And yeah, it's not very interesting, but you need to always push mid lane first when you want to set up for these objectives like Dragon and Baron, so you can move in and get your vision down. Bot lane though, SmityJ got a tower. SoaZ is there, but he can't really touch him. And rest of Giants now suddenly gets a few seconds around the Baron. Oh, actually no pink wards because they're full items on Hustlin, so you have no pink wards.
This
at all
could be it. Hawk shot comes out from Peke. Teleport from SmityJ will send him into the Baron Pit River. Barrel comes out. Baron going down and secured by Giants. They've got the control. Nobody's taken down. Pillar of Ice will slow Amazing, but Giants have snuck their first Baron.
All right, Baron for each. OG pushing down mid. Not really able to force anything with it. They might have to just go back and defend in their own base now. Elder Drake's gonna be a few more minutes. Time for Giants to have 2 lanes pushing in, where they have super minions in the mid lane. And then you pick 1 lane on the side and you have SmityJ. Actually, no, SmityJ has no TP.
No TP.
He can't really go split pushing on his own.
Not a SoaZ. SoaZ joined, or followed rather. a minute or two ago.
Red team's inhibitor is respawning soon.
Thank
Okay,
you,
okay,
Summoner's Rift
thank
Lady. Red team inhibitor.
It is respawning, guys.
It is.
Look at
There
that
we go.
respawn.
Thank you, observers, for highlighting that one. But Officio, I bought into the Origin hype from yesterday, thinking that this should have been a clear win, but you called it.
I did.
European LCS teams can be so inconsistent, and Origin's lack of, well, anything, has now put them in a 50-minute duel.
Yeah.
Do or die against a Baron-empowered Giant squad.
Basically, Trevor, we have learned that after a 2-0, we shouldn't jump on the hype train yet. But Giants is also a better team, honestly, than this terrible, terrible record they have at the moment. Because they've actually had some very close games. They just always end up losing it in the end, and then it goes 0-2.
We'll find out if that is the case. SmityJ is forcing everybody backwards from Origin. Pillar of Ice is up, trying to zone away the Origin members. They're trying to do what they can with the poke, but it doesn't matter. And Giants, they've got themselves 2 inhibitors uncontested at 50 minutes on the clock. And there's literally no more room for items on every single Giants member.
Again,
I take it back because
he just sold
SmityJ just sold one, but that's not fair.
No, in the late game, it's okay to sell your items. Actually, a cool thing, something I really want to test the math on, but I think Azir late game, getting attack speed boots is actually a DPS upgrade over flat magic penetration boots, because flat magic penetration in the late game is not very strong. Once targets get like way above the 100 MRs, removing just a little bit of that doesn't really do a whole lot. Percent magic penetration is fantastic, obviously, but I want to be 100% sure it's correct math-wise before I make the statement. Now I just kind of open up for the idea.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure that is the case.
Empowered recalls from Giants means this is not the riskiest of moves in the top lane. Origin have to try to figure out how to handle these super minion lanes. And you know what, Officio? You do the math. You do you, and I'm not going to get involved because numbers, they're not my strong suit.
That.
Not my strong suit at all.
Sonstar is sitting top lane right now, taking away Gomes and pushing in against SoaZ. So clearly Giants are not interested in setting up for a Dragon. They want that last inhib tower down first and then go back to Dragon. We want to make sure this game keeps going on for another 5-10 minutes. So get every single inhib, then get that Elder Break, then get another Baron, and then you have permission to win. Okay.
Yeah, that...
I mean, it wouldn't have done anything.
It
It wouldn't have done anything.
No.
He has tenacity boots as well.
Well, and a GA to boot. Right, Giants, they're trying to siege up top. SoaZ and amazing. They've danced in front of the gates of their base, and SmityJ does not care. Origin, the rest of the team is grouped up. They are now behind in gold from that Baron play by 300 for the first time in really like 30+ minutes. And Officio, this is officially the 2nd longest game of summer, and it's set this week. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd longest games of summer have all been set this week. It's been very, very slow, methodical, passive series of games. The tower's going to go down here. Peke's got no Ashe arrow.
All right, and let's try and look at how Giants can win this late game fight. Peke has no way of avoiding a flash body slam from Maxlore. There's no QSS for him. There's no Mikhails or anything for Hybrid. Meaning Maxlore, if he finds Peke in this fight, he can take him down. Same for PowerOfEvil. There are 2 squishy targets for Maxlore. No Hourglass or anything. There are 2 very, very easy targets for Maxlore to take down. Knock them back into his team, but he needs to find the right opening.
Amazing has got a lot of damage onto Maxlore with the help of the team. Knight goes golden with the Hourglass. He could be in trouble. The rest of Origin need to find a kill. Maxlore, he's flashed away, but Peke is caught. Peke is down. PowerOfEvil follows as well. Hustlin's the one that gets the kill. Finally, SoaZ throws down the hammer, but it is too late. There's no more real damage up for Origin, and they're in trouble.
Yeah, Peke tried to dive the backline. Now Amazing.
Amazing's looking for Sonstar. Can't find him. A flash forward from SoaZ. SoaZ is looking for more. SoaZ, he's staying alive. He manages to survive, and Giants have won the fight clearly.
Giants now got super minions coming. 1 Nexus turret almost down. Knight and the rest of the team definitely gonna win this one.
This is game. Giants destroy Origin's Nexus in the longest game of the summer split.